how much I actually spend in a month running half a chateau. Researching for the new video that you're about to see now. So that's one way I pay my bills. Stick around to find how much I actually spend in a month running half a chateau and how much other Shetlands probably are spending on their monthly costs. Okay, so Toto is joining me for this. But just to give you a bit of an impression of my numbers, and I have done my calculations. I have actually sat down and I have wrote it all down on a little spreadsheet, on a little cheat sheet to kind of break it all down into categories. My first category is utilities and subscriptions, and that basically entails all my living costs and add all the costs that recur on a monthly basis that are also like electricity and things. So that's in total, I am spending about 500 euros on that. It's 488 euros and 20 cents. And this comprises my cell phone, which is my German and my French cell phone, which is 10 euros and 12 euros. Then I do pay quite a lot of electricity because my electricity has been going up. I think it's still a calculation before the solar panels, so that's why I pay 175 euros of electricity each month. And my biggest, absolutely biggest monthly expense is on gas. My contract is an Antargas contract and it's 228 euros a month. What I need to add to the electricity is that I don't have gas bills. I don't have like fuel gas bills, because also included in this 175 euros is the electricity that it takes to run my car, because I have a fully electric car. And then I have my Apple Music subscription, which is 25.95 euros every month. And it's like this Apple One kind of thing, where iCloud services, blah, blah, blah. And my Duolingo, which comes down to 7.50 euros a month, which is the app I use to learn French. And this is really my biggest block of costs actually that exists here, because the gas prices are just incredibly expensive. So at one moment, once my contract runs out with Antargas, I will probably try to see if there's any funding possibilities and any grants that I could use in France to update my heating system from gas to something else. I'm kind of researching on the topic of it, but it's still a bit like I'm not really sure where to go with this. I'm on my way to La Rochefoucauld, and actually I just had another thing that I did not think about when I did the costs, because I always paid in cash. So those are two things that are still missing on the whole list, which is, one is the ramoneur, the chimney sweep. We have quite a cheap but really good one. So we pay 75 euros per chimney, but I think now it was 85 or 80 euros this year, because he had to raise his cost. So the more chimneys or active chimneys you have, the more you will pay for this. And you should do it twice a year in a perfect world, but once a year is absolutely fine. So we just do it once a year, right before the heating period or at the end of the summer, basically. That's when we let the chimney sweep do his thing. And then the wood as well. So per meter here, now the prices have gone up a bit. So I pay this year 65 euros per meter, and I've ordered 7 meters of wood to get me through the winter. So this is my additional heating cost as well. So I did not think about these, but I did want to mention them. Then we go on with insurances. Insurances in France, you have to have your car insured and you have to have your house insured for sure. And included in my house insurance is also my personal liability insurance. So all of these are together. This is 60 euros for my house insurance and 51 euros for my car insurance a month. If I break it down monthly, because I do pay them in an annual bill. Another insurance is my mutuelle, which is in France, just to quickly explain to you the French health system. So French healthcare is basically for free. It's included in your social security costs, which come at 22% of whatever you earn. So 22% of your earnings, and this is applicable to everyone, freelancers, self-employed, and employees. They will all pay 22% of social security, and this includes your health insurance, your pension, and all these kinds of things. Which also means when I earn zero, or when somebody earns €0, they don't pay for health insurance, basically, because 22% of €0 is zero, obviously. But the health insurance, the state health insurance, doesn't cover a lot of costs, a lot of like what you would call luxury costs, maybe like glasses and teeth cleaning and like all of this additional kind of things. What is covered, obviously, is when you have a health hazard and you have to be in a hospital, like something happens to you, you have a sickness like cancer, all of these treatments are included and you don't need a special insurance for that. So everybody is secured with that when push comes to shove. But if you want a single room in a hospital and things like this, it's always better to have a mutuelle, because then this covers a lot of your different costs. A doctor sometimes may not be covered completely by your insurance, so your normal doctor's appointment, the state health insurance would pay 70% and your mutuelle or you yourself would have to pay 30% of that. So I am paying 46 euros a month. I'm with Alan. It's a special health insurance for freelancers and for self-employed people, which allows you to subtract it from your income at the end of the year as well, which is, I find, quite nice, and it's a cool system, and they have like a whole app. They have lots of benefits and things like this. I found them to be the easiest to deal with as well. So all in all, for insurances a month, I pay about 160 euros, which is 158 euros and 11 cents to be precise. Then we move on to loans and repayments, because obviously if you buy a place, some might be able to buy it all without any problem, all cash. Some people might take a loan, some people might have other loans. I do have 3 recurring payments that fall into this category. So first off, I have my loan. I didn't have to take a big loan to get this house. So that loan was all together at about, I think, 20,000, because my parents actually helped me a lot with buying this place. And I'm really, really grateful for that. My parents have an approach that it might seem macabre, but they say it's my inheritance and they'd rather give it to me now when I'm in need of it than me having to wait. And they can also profit from it, obviously, because they come here, they spend time here. So I think it's a win-win for all of us. So that's why basically all I needed to take off as a loan was 20,000 euros, and that is 250 euros a month that I'm repaying from that loan. Then I have another loan that is a private loan to my parents, because my parents have paid part of my Tesla, and I'm repaying my Tesla with a monthly installment of 100 euros. My third recurring payment is a contract that I made when I started working. So I basically save 50 euros a month onto like a special savings account, which has tons of benefits and tons of bonuses. They don't do this product anymore. The bank, I think, realized really quickly that they're losing a lot of money with that. I think this was about 2009. So that was 15 years ago. And I think it's still running a few more years, and then I'll definitely come out with a good sum of money, because I've been saving this consistently every month. So this comes off in totals for loans and repayments and installments of 400 euro. I do have another savings plan for ETFs, which is about, I think, 35 euros a month that I also invest into ETFs. And this is a thing that I just want to keep on running until I'm gray and old. Even if you just have a small amount of money to invest, it's a good thing to kind of like think ahead and just invest a small kind of amount. So the next thing is groceries and household purchases. And this is only an average, and I'm not really sure. I ran kind of the numbers, and it really differentiates from month to month. Apparently, the average is about 150 euro, but I would say it's not enough. I'd say it differs between 150 to 300. It really changed a lot during the summer months, when you can grow a lot and when you basically live off your garden. But outside of summer, it's a whole different story. So I would say prices in France for groceries are definitely higher than, for example, what I'm used to from Germany. But Germany is known in Europe to be the cheapest groceries in all of Europe. It's just absolutely amazing and crazy how little people have to spend on groceries in Germany. That being said, other things are more expensive in Germany, so it always balances itself out, I guess. It's so odd. I was looking for taper candles, the longer candles. Can't find them anywhere. I don't understand. I'm deeply confused. I couldn't find any, the bigger candles, yes, and I was asking for candles, but there were none to be found in the normal Leclerc. And now I've been to the Bricot. They also have a few candles. None. So strange, don't you think? I think it's really strange. Maybe we'll try just the Intermarché in Château, because I'd really like some tapered, super simple white ones even. I don't care. I just want some. At least it's a beautiful day for driving. And here we found them, because here they have them. It's so odd that they didn't have them at Leclerc. I don't know. And then the last thing that's a recurring monthly payment is the property tax in France. In France, there's two taxes, and they don't apply to everybody the same way. So there's the taxe foncière and the taxe d'habitation. They're both kind of a property tax, whereas the second one is more of a habitation living tax, basically. So, and that only applies for second homes. So if it's your second home, you have to pay taxe d'habitation on top of your taxe foncière, which can be about as much as your taxe foncière. And just to give you an impression, my taxe foncière has been going up because I did renovations, I had to declare them, I did change, and there's a misconception about the taxe foncière that I keep on hearing from different people, from French people, from English-speaking people, however. And there was a time, a long time ago, where in France it was calculated by the amount of windows and doors. That ain't the case anymore. So taxe foncière is basically calculated on how big your living surface is, how many different outbuildings you have, how big the land is you are standing on, how your amenities are, how many bathrooms you have, how luxurious it is, how well the living standards are, and all this comes into the evaluation of actually determining your taxe foncière. So my taxe foncière is about 1,500 euros a year, which comes down to 125 euros per month if I split it into monthly payments, which you can't do. You can only pay it annual, as far as I know, at least. I tried to look into it if you can pay it monthly, but I just save it up now. I save every month. I save 125 euros on a savings account. So this way I don't have to worry to pay like one big sum. That being said, I have a total spending of 1,306 euros and 2 cents if you add all of these up. I would say it fluctuates between this and 1,500 euros of my monthly living costs, and this does not include anything else that I buy. This does not include any renovation material, anything that I buy for the house. This is really just the bare minimum to make ends meet. You guys, it's crowded here today. Just taking Chateau for a walk and met already 2 dogs and, I don't know, 7 people, which is very unusual because usually I meet 0 people. I'm like already like, oh my god, this is becoming so crowded here. I don't like it. Well, but it's true. It's one reason why I moved here, is to have peace and quiet. The lake looks so beautiful, like a picture. But if we kind of take it up and if we kind of think of like, I have 208 square meters of livable space here. I have, just to give you an example, I have 4 bathrooms. I have, how many? I keep on forgetting, 7, 8 rooms, I think, altogether in here. 3 outbuildings, which is the barn, the open barn, and my garage. I stand on about 600 square meters of land. You see, it's not really big. So if you blow it up and only take taxe foncière for now, like your property charges, I think a big chateau, and it also depends where the chateau is, because if it's more populated and less rural, it will go up. So let's say you're closer to a bigger town, or like a town in general, and you have a proper like big chateau, this would push your property tax probably to a few thousand euros, up to maybe, if you have a very high standard chateau, that would be like something in between 10 and 20,000 euros per year just for your property tax. Which I know if you live in an area in the States, for example, I do know it from the States, that especially taxes around anything around Austin can be like super expensive, and you'll probably get the same amount of property tax for just a house. But I do find it quite a lot of money to spend. Same as house insurance would go up then probably into a few thousands, I would presume, because there's much more that's much more risk, much more roof space that's covered, much more many different risks that can happen. And then if you leverage like your loan, your electricity, your heating, all of these will go up. And I think like to run a place like a big chateau, you would have to calculate about I'd say something in between the range of 3,000 to 10,000 euros a month. Also depending on if you have people who work the grounds, if you need any help, that will actually push your prices or your monthly payments way more up, because it basically costs you how much you ever pay the person to do the job. This you will also pay in all the extra charges that you have to pay to the French state. So this means, just to take an example, if you pay someone 2,500 euros a month, you will pay also 2,500, about roughly, I mean, it's a rule of thumb, right? So about 2,500 euros as well for anything that will cost you, the employee, basically. So 5,000 euros in total. So that's kind of like the Chateau comparison, to give you kind of an idea. And that as well sometimes is reality. You get a post note that your bank is going to close, which is the case for my bank, which is my French bank. It was the bank that was the easiest to set up an account as a foreigner in France. And unfortunately, they are closing their services. It's kind of a branch of La Banque Postale, so the postal office bank. So yeah, my only problem is I will close that account because that's what I want you to do, and to move all the money you have on that account. I haven't used that account much, actually, to be all honest. I used it because I needed, for some things, I really needed a French IBAN, which has changed a lot in like the 1.5 years that I've been living in France. It's not necessary to get a French IBAN, but I did pay my taxes foncières with this bank account, and now I need to try and see if I can go to the impôt, to the tax office website, and actually ask them if they can withdraw from a different account. Well, if that's not possible, I'll just close down the account anyway, and then I'll just won't have a French bank account. If you are looking for a bank account in Europe and you really want a good one, I can only recommend Wise. I'm not sponsored in any way by them. I just really like the services. They're super easy to use. They're an online bank. You also get a physical card if you want to. 0 fees and super transparent, super easy. I'm keeping my German account, obviously, but that is my international bank account. And you can withdraw with the Wise card from everywhere in the world for free, which is absolutely amazing. They are located in Belgium, so you'll get a Belgian IBAN. But I think if you're moving to Europe, that is a good solution for a bank account in Europe. That's easy to set up and everything. I did also do 3 comparisons that are quite funny. The first one is living in Paris, the second one in the countryside in the US, and the third one is living in Düsseldorf, because that's where I was living before and I thought it would be really fun to do it. Living in Paris, the rent in Paris city center, you would have to calculate between 1,200 to 1,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment. You would probably spend about 200 euros per month for utilities like electricity, heating, cooling water, all of these things. Your groceries would go up to about 400, and for a monthly public transport pass, you would probably pay 75 to 100 euros because you don't basically need a car. So that is kind of an estimated living cost of 1,800 to 2,300 euros per month. Whereas living in a rural area in the States, it says, and these are just like estimates that I found online, it says about 750 to 1,100 euros for rent. Then utilities about $150 to $200. Groceries are a bit higher position here. Then you have to also calculate in the States always healthcare, because healthcare can be 280 to 570 euros a month, which is a big thing to pay. And then transport, on your gas costs and things like this, and however your car is 95 to 190 euros, which makes a total living cost of about 1,500 to 2,400 euros per month. And living in Düsseldorf is actually a bit cheaper. It comes to about 900 to 1,200 euros for rent. You will have to pay around 150 to 200 euros for utilities, 250 to 350 for groceries, and a public transport pass would probably cost you about 70 to 90 euros a month, which actually, if there's still something like the Deutschland ticket, if you know, you know, that's about 59, I think, euros, 50 something euros per month for public transport, and that would get you to about 1,300 to 1,800 euros per month, so quite similar to here. The most priciest is the US, but it's really also really hard to compare different countries to one another, especially transatlantic. I think if we kind of stay in the European region, you see that the more rural it gets, the cheaper probably your costs, like taxe foncière and your insurances will get, probably, depending on also where you are. If there's any other like natural risk zones, then obviously those costs will go up. I hope I could really give you a bit of an insight on how much it actually costs to live here, how much I am spending, and how much probably other people are spending, because I think it's always like an interesting thing, you know, it's like this kind of magical thing of like you're living in the chateau, and it does cost a bit of money. But doing this calculation for myself was also really interesting, just to see how much I'm spending on different things and to see how much I maybe need to put on the side for the future, because I do have to admit that I am quite good at financing, or kind of like looking at my finances and dealing with finances, but I could be much better at it, and I could be much better at like saving money up for different occasions. And because also my job is so fluctuating, and I'm hoping to obviously earn more money with YouTube in the future, but also with the projects, I usually have a lump sum coming in every few months when I do a project, and this will have to serve me, right? It's a bit different to a traditional job in that kind of sense, but it's the life I chose, and it's the life I've been leading for 10 years now, so I'm very much used to it. So yeah, I hope this gave you a good insight. This vlog is coming to an end because I'm also going up to Alexi's place tonight. We haven't stayed there for such a long time now, since they have had like so many things moving, bits and pieces going on there, and it was basically so much nicer just to stay at the chateau. And they didn't have warm water for I think almost 2 weeks now, and I think now it's back, I hope. But yeah, they made a meal, and Chateau and me are gonna go up and join the others in a bit. Just wanted to take some time and say thank you for watching this video, and to just tell you that I shall see you for another video on Friday. Yeah, welcome to this weird vortex where when you're watching this video, I'm on my way back from Germany, and next week we'll start the vlogs that are in Germany, which will be 2 vlogs. One will be the road trip, the other one will be my being there and rehearsals with Katja. So you guys will get to see Katja again. I was thinking maybe I could do some fun interviews with her as well, talk with her a bit, introduce her a bit to the channel, and well, yeah, we can talk about our friendship and the things that move us and things like this. I thought it would be like a really nice addition to this channel, and to you guys getting to know me more and getting to know the people in my life a bit more. And yeah, So let's see how she feels about that. But yeah, all that is left to say is à bientôt, au revoir from the southwest of France. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, leave the video a like. This really does a lot. Also, if you can share it maybe with others. Thank you so much for all of your support. I love talking to you guys in the comments, so drop a comment down below and maybe just say hi. And I will see you next Friday. Bisous and bye.